seatbelt is fastened, your seat back, tray table, and tablet holder are up, and footrest and first class are stowed.
Right now, the trip to our homestead takes almost 24 hours. After waiting in the security line for what seemed like hours, you can see that the planes are stacked up waiting in line to take off as well. It's actually fairly inexpensive as far as flights go. However, eating a full 24 hours really takes a lot of time out of a trip. The Ketchikan Airport's on an island, separate from the city. On a nice sunny day, it's actually a really beautiful landing as you cruise over the ocean and then hit the island. Once the plane lands, you then have to catch a ferry that takes you from the airport island to the island that Ketchikan's on. They talked about making a bridge here at one point, but it's a major landing place for seaplanes and the like. So in the end, I think they've just decided to stick with the ferry. It's a fairly short ferry ride, but if you're about to miss your plane, it seems like an eternity. While waiting for our ride along the docks, one of the Alaska State Ferries docked. They're pretty massive boats. Back up here for our fall wrap-up trip, just putting everything to bed before we take off for the winter, I guess. Came up, so just up here for a week. It's November, just trying to get everything squared away so it can ride out for the winter. Got a few logs to cut, we might get to that, we'll see. And then gonna try and move some dirt, I think. Definitely need to get the sawmill in the garage. Don't want it sitting out in the weather all winter. Probably had it sitting out here too much. Honestly, this fall, got a little water on there, a little ice. Clearly it's been colder here than I thought. That ice is like 3 inches thick. Hasn't been too bad since we've got here, maybe 28 to 30s. There's the cabin. Got it set up. It was a lot easier this time because all the miscellaneous stuff is up in the garage. So it only took us an hour or so to get everything out of the cabin and settled. There's a generator. November solar's a little iffy. We've been getting some okay solar, but not fantastic, so use the generator. It's gas that goes to our heater. And here's my 2 solar panels. During the winter, they're more than enough to keep the battery in plenty of juice. Right now, they barely squeak out anything. It's a problem with living in the northern latitudes. Then here's my future batteries. Right now, I'm running off of one 12 volt. What I've got here is 4 6 volt batteries, so I can either do a 24 or a 12. That'll be nice. That's one of the things I'd like to get done this trip as well, is get those hooked up. They're like 300-400 pounds a piece, so it takes a bit to move those guys. Here's my water setup. So I have the main line just up to a spring. So the gravity feed comes up here. And then I have just a hot water heater. Splits here. Part of it goes to the main line, the other half goes to the water heater. Water heater heats it. Got hot water. Then my gas line is also split. Half goes to the water heater, the other half goes to my stove. Here is my electrical system. I've just got this setup from MPP Solar. Basically an all-in-one solar system. It's actually really nice. Right now I'm running my lights just off of that one deep cycle battery. Fuse for the MPP Solar. Breaker for my solar panels. Input from the generator, and then 120 volt into the house. Yeah, so right now I'm getting 14 volts from my photovoltaic, but almost no amps. So not much. It says it's charging, but not really. Roof up on this summer. It's not quite as dry in here as I would have hoped. You just got a lot of blowing mist and such. But definitely keeps this floor a little moist. Next summer we'll get the walls on. I have a bunch of friends that are interested in coming up. So that's the plan. We do have a little bit of leakage. We knew there was a leak down this seam right here. Because we didn't have to. We accidentally switched our seams partway through. And then I've also got some kind of a leak going on right in here. Not sure what's going on there. We'll have to climb up in the summer and take a look at it. But it should be fine for the winter. Other than that, not much rain getting in here. There's my shed where all my where I'm just keeping all my stuff. These are my Christmas trees. They're doing well. Some of them are doing better than others. I marked the rows, but the writing faded off, so I'm not exactly sure. But this row right here, you can see it's got a lot of dead needles and stuff, but it's got some growth on top, so maybe that's just the characteristic of this particular tree. But everything's doing pretty good. Only lost like 8 or 10. So the other thing had to be done is pulling out all of the alders.
This piece of property was cleared about 4 or 5 years ago. Now the alders have taken over. You've essentially got weeds that are about 10 to 15 feet tall. Getting the land back workable will take a fair bit of effort.
I got a special tool for that. First time I was up here working on the property, pulled one of these out of the ground. It's not too hard by hand, but pulled on one a little too heavy or a little too big, and couldn't walk for the next couple of days, which when you're up here trying to get stuff done, it's not good. Is I planted a bunch of blueberry bushes. I love blueberries. I want to have a few. In fact, I'm kind of toying with putting blueberries between the Christmas trees. I took and just did cuttings this July off of some wild blueberries on my property. They all, you see, they all lived. They still got leaves and stuff. So I'm hopeful that a few of them will survive. I don't think all of them will. The other thing I did is just put some of my hemlock shavings on them. Basically what I've noticed is blueberry bushes a lot of times will grow right out of tree stumps. So I think they provide the nutrition that the blueberries need. So there he is. The hemlock cuttings should also provide that nutrition. So we'll see. In the orchard, you can see some of them survived, some of my trees didn't, but actually better than I'd hoped. So this tree was one that got just destroyed by the deer the first year. I had it in a little wire cage, and it just wasn't enough. So you can see you got a lot of growth and above the draft, so that's good. This cherry, this leader right here is actually alive, so that turned out well. Got a couple of these apple trees that died, this one and that one. See, my cage wasn't big enough. That's what I had at the time, so that's what I did, but it wasn't very big enough. Berry here in the middle, and then a plum or a pear and a plum on the end, and then this apple here, doing really good. This one's good. That one is also an apple, doing really well. That one grew a ton. This one, doing pretty good. This guy here, we thought maybe it had died, but if you look here, I got one leaf up on the top, so either it loses its leaves a little early, or it didn't do quite as well, but not too shabby, really. So one of my viewers made a comment that I really appreciated, concerned about this little stream here perhaps eroding the foundation of my shed. I always like other people to look at what I do and give me some thoughts. If this was a regular stream, I would be somewhat worried about that. However, this right here is bedrock, as is that right there, and then you can see some bedrock over there. And then the source of this stream of water is just this sandy bank right over here. The water just kind of seeps out from there. So the chances of you ever getting a large amount of water flowing through here is fairly slim. It's always good to get a double check on what you're doing. I can't think of everything, so appreciate all the help.